Hey guys, Toby Morrison here. Just doing this video because we got a great question from one of our members, Ainsley, and I think she's doing pretty well on her recovery journey. But she prompted the question, which was how do we get back into living life after CFS or suffering with like a chronic illness, and transitioning into that, because she said that life has its own challenges. Away from just having chronic fatigue syndrome and dealing with that. And she makes a really valid point, because I think a lot of people, when they're going through something so hard as chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, like that in itself is so hard that when you start to recover and get better, you think that life is just going to be a breeze, and life is not going to be hard at all, and then life is going to be happily ever after. Yet, what we don't realise is that when you've been sick for such a long period of time, you're so consumed by your own illness and all the problems that come with that that's your world. You don't know any different. So as soon as you start to live outside of that world and you start living life again, and you start to have to think about work or study or jobs or relationships, family, all the stuff that once you didn't have to think about, now you've got to think about. Bills, mortgages, rent, all the fun stuff. And so it can be really challenging transition. And there's a quote which we came up with, which was recovery is hard, but so is having CFS. And it's a bit like that with life as well. I think once you start to live life and get back into it, of course it's exciting and it's great, but the transition period comes with its challenges, because you're not only dealing with recovering, but then all of a sudden you're dealing with life. And it's not all bad. Like it can be as good as that as well. Sitting at the beach, and I don't want to make it a doom and gloom video at all, but I think it's a really good question to ask. So how do we start doing that? How do we start getting back into life, and how do we start transitioning? Well, the first thing is doing it. So rather than thinking about it and fearing about it, I think that's the biggest thing, is the fear about living it again. The only way that dissolves is by doing it and realizing that you can do it. And so, whether or not you're doing a very minimal kind of lifestyle basis, so you might be able to only go out once a week socially, or twice a week, or just starting to talk to new people again can be quite hard. So the first thing is just starting to do those little things that maybe you're fearing a little bit that you would like to do, but you're kind of scared of doing. And as you progress and get better, you can start to do other things, right? So obviously you can start to look for work, you can start to, maybe look for new friends, you can start to try new hobbies, and I think that's really good as well. Doing new things, and Ainsley also raised the question about making new friends. She's found it quite hard, and once you go through chronic fatigue syndrome, having boring surface level conversations is it lacks depth and interest. And so when you meet new people and they haven't gone through maybe as hard at times as you have, you might find it quite hard to relate to them, or think that their small little problems aren't really worth talking about, and that's totally understandable. And that raises the point where you can have friends that have very different lifestyles. I know I do. I've got older friends, younger friends, and I think that's great, like having different friends with different backgrounds. I've got friends who have got kids, and I've got friends who are completely single and don't want to have kids, and it's great to have that vast array of friendships. So for whatever mood I'm in, or for whatever I need help with or support, or just being around different people and their energy has a different impact, and I think that's really useful too. And so don't feel like you need to segregate your friends, or they have to be X, Y, Z. People change. And the other thing is as well, sometimes your old friends can still be there, but I think you need to put yourself in new situations. So if you've moved to a new town, going to a local cafe shop and talking to the barista, or just literally just, you know, I know it doesn't come naturally for a lot of people. It does for me, which I'm really, you know, it's one of my favourite things to do is talk to strangers, or new people. Strangers is not a good word, but is just say hi or comment on something about them, and when you start to do that, it opens up conversation, and then, you know, you might know a friend of a friend or whatever, and, you know, the world gets smaller, and I think that's really cool too. So I just want to just go over one more thing. So obviously, as you're progressing back into life, you're going to be doing new things. So eventually what happens is, the more new things you start doing, the more you start living. Look at this person surfing over there. That's pretty cool. The more you start doing and the more you start living, the less you start to, you know, live the old lifestyle, right? And so I think it's good when you're progressing back into life, is to know that it comes with its own challenges, to know that it does come with, you know, not just flowers, rainbows and sunshine all the time. It's a bit like the weather, you know, sometimes it's really nice and sunny and other times it rains. So my suggestion to you is just, know that it comes with challenges, know that, you know, it's not just going to be a breeze, but also you've got pretty strong resilience and persistence, so that can hold you in good stead too. So I just wanted to share that video. I think this is a really important topic that a lot of people are going through, and maybe ask yourself, where am I at in terms of living life, you know, starting to live again? Where am I at? Am I at like a 2 out of 10, or am I at an 8 out of 10? Am I, you know, back doing all the things that I love and want to do? And you know, accept that, and then look beyond that and go, okay, how do I want it to be, and start doing something about it. And that might mean stop doing other things in order for you to do that, if that makes sense. So anyway, I know this video is a bit rambly, but it's a really, really, really great topic to talk about, because it's just one of those things. We all go through it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's an illness or a breakup. God, I remember when I went through, you know, my first really hard breakup many years ago, and that took me years to get over. And it took me, you know, years to feel like, you know, I was living back into my own little world, and with, you know, happy with who I was and moving on. You know, it was 5 years of your life, and then all of a sudden it's just gone, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's your illness, whether it's an illness, you know, a bad relationship, ill health, you know, poor finances. I've met lots of people who have made, you know, millions of dollars and then lost it all and had to start again. And so the same kind of rules apply in any area of your life, really. And it's just about getting back on the horse and starting again, and just starting to do things that, one, interest you, two, and keep you occupied. And I think also getting back into living life is just having something to do, even if you don't feel like it, and just, you know, having little things during the day, even if it's just literally making your bed or doing the dishes, or you know, going for a little walk, or just sitting out in the sunshine like I'm doing right now, grabbing a coffee or a chai latte or whatever fancies your boat, and doing little hobbies throughout the day, because there's nothing worse than waking up and having nothing to do. And it can be great for a little while, having nothing to do, but after a while it can get pretty mundane and pretty boring, and not good for your mental headspace, because you've got too much time on your own, too much time to think, too much time to do nothing, and that can not be useful. So have something to do. I think Mark Opoluco, a famous surfer, said, have someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to. And that was his thing. I think he had 10 years of addiction, which was pretty crazy. And then he went back into pro surfing and won, which was pretty cool. So again, I hope that helps. If it does, please like this button and share it, because the more people who see it, obviously the more people it will reach on our page. That's if it helps you. So hopefully it's a relevant topic to you. And feel free to post what's worked for you and what's helped you below, so other people in the community can enjoy that too. Thanks guys, take care.